Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, I'm Queen Bee Tarot, and I'm so glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be covering Mercury retrograde, which started on Friday, and the crazy energy we've been feeling ever since Saturday's full moon in Pisces. So yes, Mercury went retrograde on Friday. Such a bad rap for this thing. But you know, Mercury goes retrograde a few times a year. And because it is named for the winged messenger, because it represents our headspace, our communication, and how we perceive things, instead of looking at it in a negative light, I think it's really useful if we look at it in a positive light, in the sense that, okay, we can go back over things. When a planet moves backwards, just for our perception here on Earth, they never actually move backwards. We just kind of move faster than them, so it looks like they go backwards. When Mercury goes retrograde, or any other planet, it's an opportunity to go back over the energy that that planet represents. So when Mercury is retrograde, it's an awesome time to go back over how we think about things, how we perceive things, and we're rethinking our communication. So because Mercury is retrograde in Libra right now, Libra is symbolized by the scales, and it's associated with the tarot card Justice. Libra is all about weighing things out, finding balance, seeking equality, and standing up for justice. Libra is also associated with the 7th house in astrology, all about one-on-one partnerships, relating not just to romantic partners, but perhaps even business partners or really close friends. So when we have these one-on-one relationships, and if you think about the core of any relationship is going to be communication, what we're going through right now with Mercury retrograde in Libra is that we are rethinking concepts of headspace, communication, and how that looks in our lives when it comes to one-on-one relationships. Are we feeling like things are in balance? Are we feeling like things are happening in an honorable way? Are we feeling like the balance or the equality is working for us? So you may find yourself rethinking your current relationship. You may find yourself rethinking your relationship with exes. This is going to be a potentially heavy time, because if we come to the realization that things are out of balance, then it's going to be up to us to find ways to establish that balance or rebalance things if things are off kilter. So you may find yourself rethinking your relationship and going, you know what, this is totally not working for me. Or if you're in a good place, you might be rethinking your relationships and thinking, wow, I am so lucky to have so much balance and so much healthy give and take in my life. So depending on your life experience, you know, this could be a positive time or a negative time, but it doesn't deserve the bad rap that it always gets. However, I will warn you that because Mercury is associated with communication, we have to be really, really, really careful about what we say and how we say it. This is a time where we might be speaking off the cuff, not really thinking first, letting our emotions guide our headspace and our words. And so for that reason, you know, Mercury retrograde does have a bad rap for sending a text to the wrong person, or sending an email before we really had time to properly edit it, things like that. So always triple check before you hit send, and also don't ever communicate when your emotions are at a peak. Always wait for your body and your mind and your heart to calm down before you send a message or before you say something that you might regret. So speaking of Mercury retrograde, we had a full moon on Saturday, as I mentioned, in Pisces, and the energy was really wild in the sense that it was full, it was flowing. Pisces is a water sign, and it's associated with wisdom and intuition, as well as going with the flow. But because it is two fish swimming in opposite directions, sometimes that flow is really hard to define. Sometimes we find ourselves just kind of wandering, but this can be either a blissful experience, or if we're supposed to be getting things done, it could be a frustrating experience. So I definitely encourage all my viewers and anybody who studies astrology out there to not jump to conclusions about what something means, or it being inherently negative or inherently positive, because it really depends on the time and the place and the way in which the energies come through. So astrology illustrates potential, And it's very hard for us to go against the grain if we are pushing for something and it's not happening. This is a great time to reevaluate whether or not our goals are appropriate or manageable, or perhaps we need to rethink what it is that we're hoping for. At the end of October, Mars is going to go retrograde, and it is going to mean that all of the outer planets and a couple of the inner planets are all retrograde at the same time. So what that means is it's not bad. It's not bad luck. It's nothing like that. Again, it's not inherently negative, but it does mean that all across the board in our lives, in our expressions, in our careers, in our relationships, in our headspace, in our hearts, all across the board, we are reevaluating things right now. And this is definitely not a time, and this holds true till the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023. All these planets are going to be retrograde for some months now. This is not a time where forward moving goals are going to be especially productive or fluid. It's going to be a time of feeling as though we keep hitting obstacles, or perhaps we depending on experience, perhaps what might come up for you is you're going to have problems or challenges or hiccups within relationships or in your own lives where you say to yourself, I thought I was done with this. I thought I was over this. I thought this was through, or whatever the context may be. And the reason why things that you thought were resolved might start coming up again as we close out the year is because all these retrograde planets are having us rethink things just to make sure that we understand them correctly. So what I'm trying to say by this is, if something comes up and it makes you think, oh my God, I thought I was over this, I thought I was done with this, don't get super mad at yourself or life in general. Take it as an opportunity to make sure that you're done with it. If you feel like it's an issue that has come up for you many times in the past, you could always take it as an opportunity to practice what you've learned and deal with the person or the situation or the challenge in the way that you always dreamed that you would. Usually in the moment we say things and then afterwards we go, man, I really could have responded to that better, or, oh man, I have the ultimate comeback now. So take these retrograde months as an opportunity to practice what you always imagined you wanted to do. Respond in the super mature way that you always wished you could, but you were too triggered in the past to manage your emotions. This is a fantastic time if you have issues coming up, for example, in a new relationship, and you thought that this new relationship was awesome and perfect and ideal and totally different from the past difficult relationships you'd had, and all of a sudden this new beautiful relationship has an issue come up that you thought you were done with. That's going to be Mercury retrograde giving you an opportunity to not see things as failed, but see things as an opportunity to show by example, by thought, by word, by deed, that you really are elevated. You've matured. You've learned your lessons. A lot of these problems that we're going to experience in life, they're totally unavoidable. But what changes is us. Life and its challenges and typical relationship dynamics, they're always going to be the same, but what changes is us. So recognize the change within yourself. Embrace this Mercury retrograde. Allow yourself to go with the flow. And in 2 weeks, we have a new moon in Libra. So as Mercury is going retrograde through Libra, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a new moon in Libra. So when we follow the moon, what we're especially looking at is month-long chapters. And when we have a new moon, it's an opportunity for a new beginning. And because we have a new moon approximately every 28-29 days, we can embrace that new beginning for an entire month and work through the themes, embrace the energy, channel the energy of change, and focus ourselves in a way that is going with the flow of the planets and the universe. So the beginning of Mercury retrograde is typically a little bit rough. Take some time to energetically get used to it. I know a lot of us right now are feeling totally out of sorts, that emotions and headspace are just kind of either unpredictable or scattered. You're not alone. But as Mercury retrograde really starts getting going, sometimes we kind of start to get in the flow of it and it feels less uncomfortable. So we have 2 weeks to get used to where we personally go when we think or rethink concepts of balance, one-on-one relationships, equality, and justice. And as we have 2 weeks to get used to this energy Mercury is creating, then in 2 weeks we have this new moon in Libra, which is an opportunity to ace that exam that life gives you, to have that comeback or that witty but elevated and mature response to a triggering situation. By the time we have the new moon, it's going to be an opportunity to prove to yourself how much you've changed, how much you have evolved and allowed yourself to rise above some things that really used to drag you down. So good luck, everyone. If you ever want to book a personal reading with me, if you ever want to see where your transits are going, that's where the planets are affecting your personal birth chart, or if you'd like to schedule a tarot reading with me, please do visit my website at www.queenbeetarot.net. And I have all of my services listed there. So much love to you guys. You can do this. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.